I'm super excited about Leon Edwards, Colby Covington. For the diehard fans, for the people who follow fighting, you know this one is a barn burner, super ultra hard to predict. I'm going to give you guys my pick right now. I'm going with Leon Edwards. Let me tell you why. I'm going to make a case for Leon Edwards, and then I'm going to make a case for Colby Covington. First off, I've heard that Colby Covington is training to be an orthodox fighter. He's training with his power side being the right hand. He's fought his entire career as a southpaw, as a lefty, meaning his power side was the left. But they're saying he's not left-handed. Why would a fighter fight with his weak hand as a power side? Well, there's a lot of controversy about this in martial arts, but just to keep it simple, it's usually because when you convert a wrestler to boxing, their strong leg, their right leg, their right hand, if they're right-handed, they put their right leg forward because they're always gripping with the lead arm, right? They're always fighting with the lead arm, so they put their power side forward. In boxing, they put the power side back. You take a wrestler whose power side is the right side, and then you want to teach him boxing, but he's used to standing in that stance. He's already used to it. He's not comfortable standing the other way. If he stands the other way, he can't shoot off the left leg. This is a common problem for when you convert a wrestler into striking. They have this thing, do I learn a new side or do I stick to my comfortable side? I'm assuming Colby is a right lead wrestler. That's why they put him as a southpaw in boxing. Now, kickboxing, whatever you want to call it. You'll notice he doesn't have any KOs on his record, okay? He's not a KO guy. Why? It's because he's putting his power side forward. Now, there's a controversy in martial arts. Some martial arts actually, boxers, even now, some boxing coaches have even said, oh, if I had to do it again, I put the lead side, the strong side first, the strong side forward. Now, that's a minority opinion. The vast majority of boxing coaches will tell you, look, put the power side back like this. So if you're right-handed, you're standing like this with your right hand behind and you're boxing. Okay, so we're really well known in boxing. Colby this entire time been fighting southpaw, not because he's a lefty, but because he's a righty, and he only shoots off his right leg. So his whole game was based around his takedowns. I believe it. It happens a lot. Wrestlers do that. Now, if he's converting to orthodox, I think it's a huge mistake. A huge mistake. Why? Leon Edwards is a southpaw. He has an incredible kicking ability to the head. He's really good with kicking to the head. He kicked Cowboy Cerrone to the head. He kicked RDA to the head. Of course, he kicked Usman to the head and knocked him out. He's a very dangerous head kicker. If Colby goes righty, Leon's power kick, the left power kick, is going to catch Colby sooner or later on the jaw, on the neck, in the neck, on the jaw, and I think lay him out. Mark my words, Leon Edwards has an incredible head kick. If it's true that Colby Covington is training to come out as a righty, if it's true, it could be just a rumor, okay? But I have some people telling me that he's training righty now. That means Colby wants to box. If he goes in as a righty, guys, I think he's going to get knocked out. Leon Edwards is used to fighting righties. The vast majority of fights he's had, he's only fought... The southpaws I can remember was Leon Edwards Leon Edwards fought RDA, was a southpaw, and Barberena was a southpaw. Maybe he fought another southpaw in his career, but they're far and few between southpaws. Excuse me. Damn it. I meant righties. Southpaws, if Colby comes out as a southpaw, Edwards is always fighting righties. If Colby comes out as a righty, he's going to get killed. You guys listening to me? If he comes out as a righty, he's going to get killed. It's the first time he's out there as a righty fighting a southpaw. Doesn't make sense. Southpaws are always used to fighting righties. Edwards to my memory, he's only fought RDA was a southpaw and Barberena was a southpaw, and he did really well. I just popped in my head, Nate Diaz. He fought Nate Diaz. Now, he did really good with Nate Diaz for 4 rounds. He did great for 4 rounds. He could fight a southpaw. But if you put him with a righty, he's more comfortable fighting righties is what I'm trying to say. Southpaws are very comfortable fighting righties, and some southpaws are not comfortable fighting southpaws because they never see them. They're far and few between. Edwards has seen southpaws. He's done well. So I would still pick Edwards if Colby comes out southpaw. I'm still picking Edwards. But I'm telling you, if Colby comes out as a righty, he's going to have a lack of wrestling. He's not going to be a threat in the wrestling because his power side, his strong side, his shot, his double leg shot won't be there. It won't be as good. He's going to get creamed. Now, I'm hoping that's a rumor. I hope Colby Covington comes out as a southpaw. I'm still giving the edge. Even if he does, I'm still giving the edge to Edwards. Let me tell you why. Colby doesn't have that one punch KO power. Okay, now Edwards hasn't laid out guys with his hands. He's hurt guys with his hands. He's showed us that he has very powerful elbows. Very powerful elbows. He's a very good elbower. Leon Edwards is incredible with his elbows. We've seen him time and time again from the clinch position land those elbows. When he gets attacks, he throws elbows. He's very, very versatile. He has great head kicks. He has great elbows. And he has great punching ability. Colby is mainly a volume puncher. Doesn't mean a volume puncher can't beat a guy with very good versatility, but I just don't see it. I think he's going to get countered. I think he's going to get kicked in the head. I think Leon Edwards is going to land body kicks. He's going to be far more versatile. We saw Usman land body kicks on Colby, and it paid dividends. I'm going to make a case for Colby, guys, very shortly, but I'm giving you my pick. Leon Edwards. I'm picking Leon Edwards to win. Why? One, if Colby comes out as a righty, he's going to get killed. Two, Edwards is a much better striker. He's a better striker. He's an underrated wrestler. He took down Usman. He defended Usman's takedowns consistently. He did a phenomenal job. And even if he gets taken down by Covington, so what? Covington's never really subbed anybody. Nobody of note. Maybe he has one or two subs early in his career. I think he has one rear naked choke in UFC, but I seen that, like, he's not really a submission guy. He can hold you down for 5 rounds and he'll never really be a threat of a sub. He doesn't really threaten people with submissions or vicious ground and pound. He's not a finisher. He's mainly a decision guy. Now, Edwards has finishes on his records and he also has a lot of decisions. Edwards is more likely to finish. Edwards is more versatile. Edwards is a highly underrated wrestler. And even if Edwards gets taken down, so what? I think he's going to get back up. And Colby, I don't think will be able to hold him down. They're going to fight. They're going to scramble. He's going to get back to his feet. He's going to put it on him striking. I'm expecting Edwards to beat him striking and even Edwards to sometimes surprise us all with a takedown and score. I think he can score takedowns. I don't think he's the best takedown guy in the division, no. But his wrestling is highly underrated. He took down Usman. If he can take down Usman, he can take down anybody. Now, I'm going to make a case for Colby. Leon, if I had to critique him one little bit, I would say I'm not as confident in his conditioning as I am in other champions. I've seen a lot of great champions come and go, and I've seen a lot of great champions with incredible conditioning. Incredible. Leon Edwards leaves me with a doubt. His conditioning leaves me with a doubt. Now, his second fight with Usman, he looked tired. He was tired. After round 2, he seemed to slow down. Then he landed that head kick with about a minute left. We'll never forget it. It was one of the greatest comeback fights ever in a title fight ever. But we can't forget, he was fighting at altitude. He was fighting in Denver, if I recall. It was high altitude. Guys, if you've never trained in Denver, I've trained in Denver. I've trained at high altitude. It's killer. Me too. When I first went, I didn't really think about it. I didn't know what it was. I was training at Jackson's. After round 3, I was running to find a place to throw up. I was on the mats. I was feeling good. And all of a sudden, I wasn't feeling good. I ran off the mats and I was throwing up. And I was like, wow. I'm like, I think I'm sick. They're like, no, it's high altitude. Don't worry about it. It takes a week or so to get used to it. I'm like, really? Oh, I didn't even think altitude. The first time I went to Jackson's and I trained there, I didn't even think about the altitude. I've been to Denver for fights and stuff like that. I trained there. It's tough, guys. Altitude makes a difference. Why do I say that? Because in the third fight, Leon's conditioning was much better. I don't think it's pristine. If I had one fear for Leon, is that Colby puts on a high pace, gets him in bad positions, wears him out, and squeaks out a 3-2 unanimous decision. It's very possible. I'm not counting Colby out. I'm just telling you guys that I don't think it's the case. I think Leon is maturing as a champion. He's beat Usman. His confidence is sky high. He's proven his wrestling ability. Everybody out there underestimates his wrestling, even though he scores takedowns consistently, even though he defends takedowns consistently, and he gets up off the ground consistently. And don't forget, he's very schooled in jiu-jitsu. He took Usman's back. He controlled him. He's more sophisticated in jiu-jitsu than in Colby Covington, in my opinion. Guys, I think Colby can win. I'm giving it a 55-45 for Edwards. And I think Colby's path to victory is what he always does. He outworks people. He pressures them. He takes them down. He pins them. He holds them. He gut wrenches them. He kind of lands his high volume strikes. He never puts anybody away. He has to talk a lot of smack. He has to entertain people because once upon a time I heard the UFC was going to cut him whether he wins or loses, and all of a sudden he started coming out with this new personality, reinventing himself, talking smack. And I heard he did it because it was that or get cut. Like he was just too, even though he was dominant in the ring, he was too, it wasn't entertaining. His fights weren't entertaining. He changed his style of fighting. He made he adapted, and of course he brought out this personality. He became the heel. He became a super vocal guy. All of a sudden, the guy wanted to survive, and survive he did. He became world champion. He's super famous. He's arguably one of the most popular fighters today, and he got a title shot. Why did he get a title shot? Because the fans love him. He hasn't fought in, what was his last fight? Let me look it up. Give me 1 second here. Actually, he fought Usman, lost to Usman twice, and what year was the last fight? Hold on a second. He came back to fight George Masvidal. That's right. He fought George Masvidal in 2022. But his last mega fight was 2021. He fought in March 2022. So it's been about a year. He's been out for about a year. And but the Masvidal fight, I wouldn't say it was a mega fight, right? I think everybody was expecting Colby to win. It was a one-sided fight. It wasn't the fight we were all expecting. All hoping to see. Guys, I'm looking at the stats here. Wow, it's amazing. 53 to 47. You guys are giving me your votes. 53% for Edwards, 47% for Covington. It's about what I said, and I didn't look at it till just now. I said 55-45. Wow, I don't think we've agreed this we haven't, me and the fans have not agreed this precisely. Ever, I don't think. He shouldn't change his striking now. That's from Young Joe. You're very wise to say that. Listen, if he comes in the gym and he goes righty, Colby Covington's been a southpaw his entire career. If he comes in the gym and he's orthodox and he's schooling everybody, I wouldn't say anything. I'll be like, you know what, man, you proved me wrong. Get in there, get on fight night and go righty. I doubt that's happening. I really doubt that's happening. And he would have to show me he could still score his takedowns. Listen, would it be the end of the world if he comes in as a southpaw and then switches to righty, tries it, goes back to southpaw, switches to righty, tries it? Maybe he could throw a curveball to Edwards, but Edwards has successfully fought southpaws. Excuse me. He successfully fought right-handed fighters and southpaws. It's not going to throw off Edwards. Guys, you get to a point in your career when you're fighting, it doesn't matter if the guy's a righty or a southpaw. It doesn't matter to you. Edwards is at that level, obviously. He's fought southpaws, he's fought righties. Some world champion boxers never wanted to fight southpaws. Why? Because they were too far and few between, and they wouldn't take a chance, and they didn't like it. And that's an old school boxing thinking. People don't think like that no more. Like if you go in kickboxing world, there's so many southpaws, way more than in boxing. If you go to Thailand, every third fighter is a southpaw. Every third fighter in Thailand, there are so many southpaws in kickboxing. Now there was a once upon a time in boxing where they would only train you orthodox. If you were a left-handed guy, they still trained you orthodox. They didn't care. The trainers didn't feel like they knew how to train southpaws. It was a very weird thing, and I can't remember who the first world champion southpaw was, but it was like the 4-minute mile. Like it broke a way of thinking, an old school way of thinking where everybody has to be righty, and it was completely crazy. It doesn't make any sense because every other striking martial arts has both sides. Why would boxing only have one way? And once we had the first world champion, I'm forgetting his name now, first southpaw world champion, it kind of broke the mold. Everybody started being like, hey, there's nothing wrong with being a southpaw. There's nothing bad about it. And you have more and more southpaws. And now when we see a world champion in southpaw, it's not a big deal in boxing. But there was a time where if you were left-handed or right-handed, the trainers only trained you the same way. They didn't care. Okay, that's the old school boxing mentality. Now, Edwards, he's a kickboxer. He's seen righties. He's seen lefties. It ain't going to be no major surprise unless they're thinking, Colby Covington's camp, unless they're thinking that because his power side was in front, that's why he's never knocked anybody out. It could be. Could Colby Covington have a touch of death we're not aware of? Could it be? Is Colby Covington going to go on a 5-fight KO win streak? KO, all by right hand. Coach is going to have to come here on the podcast and eat his words. Look, he'd have to show me in practice that as an orthodox fighter, he's killing it. Because personally, I think Colby's road to victory is box, and surprise Edwards with a takedown and pin him and hold him down and punish him. Ground and pound, gut wrench, take his back. Like, Colby has to wrestle. If Colby goes in there in a gunfight for 5 rounds, I think he loses. He lost to Usman. He tried it with Usman. In their first fight, he tried a gunfight. And the gunfight didn't go his way. In the second fight, he tried to take Usman down. Very difficult thing. He successfully took him down, even though they didn't count it statistically. They didn't count it. I don't know why they didn't count it. Usman was down. And he didn't wrestle enough, in my opinion. He didn't try to surprise him with takedowns enough, in my opinion. He didn't put it on him enough in the wrestling. And he lost a gunfight again. So I think he loses a gunfight with Edwards. He has to wrestle. If he comes out as an orthodox fighter, if Colby Covington comes out as an orthodox fighter, I really think it's going to be harder for him to score takedowns, and his chain wrestling ain't going to work as good. He won't have the momentum. When you shoot in, you have to have that momentum behind you to chain wrestle to something else. Like, you can't just like shoot shallow. When you're shooting off your bad leg, you're not going to shoot as far. You're not going to shoot as hard. You're going to get sprawled. There's no momentum to really chain wrestle with. You know, when you shoot and the guy sprawls you, but you still have that forward momentum, you could turn things into an underhook, a knee tap, a snap down, a body lock. You could follow through. It's hard to follow through if you shoot off your lead leg. Off your weak leg, I should say. He kicked Bilal in the head too. That's from Young Joe. Young Joe, you're very precise today. You're very, very on point. You're right. I forgot to mention that. Leon Edwards has an incredibly sneaky head kick. He has an incredibly sneaky head kick. He kind of throws the left hand and then throws a left kick behind it. He throws it a couple of different ways, but he has this double shot where he throws like a left and a left kick behind it. He has a very tricky head kick. I have a feeling he's going to catch Colby with it. I have a feeling that Colby, the way his hands are, the way he stands with his hands, he's very orthodox boxing. That shin is going to touch the top of his head. It's going to stun him. It's going to hurt him.